and welcome to Great Movie Scenes, the first series to discuss and explore just that, great scenes from movies. My name is Michelle Sabato, and today I'm joined with Jean Zarzour. Jean is an actor, she's a voiceover talent, she's also a teacher, and she's just an all-around really, really awesome woman that I am lucky to know. So hi, Jean. Hi.
Hi. Oh, it's so good to see you, Michelle.
Good to see you too. So today we're going to be talking about a scene that you chose that you find very, very compelling. Can you let us know which scene that is?
Well, the whole movie Raging Bull is astonishing to me. It has never left my consciousness since 1980. I'm warm. And so it's a scene where Jake has had his second defeat. I thought it was the second defeat with Sugar Ray Robinson. And he is questioning how his future looks. So he's looking at himself in the mirror, looking doubtful, and then we see his reminiscing in muted home video color, reminiscing on better days.
Right. Okay. So the scene that we're about to show you, if you guys don't know, Raging Bull, it's Scorsese, Robert De Niro. So here, we're going to show you this scene really quick, and then we're going to come back and chat about it.
Right.
See. So after we've had a chance to view the scene, tell me why that was one that you chose and you find compelling.
Okay, well, it's a very violent boxing movie, and it's all in black and white, which is merciful of Scorsese because the bloodshed is incredible. I mean, there's blood spewing all over. So it's in black and white until this moment when we see the most doubtful he's been ever. He shows no remorse for anything he does, but we see him questioning, looking himself in the mirror and having the first amount of doubt. And then we see the only glimpses of color, which are the happiest times in his life.
Mm-hmm.
And because it is so heartbreaking that this guy is so self-destructive, seeing that those happy moments with that music under it, which I think was a little flavor from The Godfather. That music was kind of similar in some of the Godfather scenes. Another movie I'm obsessed with
Yeah.
too. But because it's so hopeful and it takes him back, he doesn't know that's going to be the happiest time in his life.
Mm,
He doesn't know that. I think he may know it in the scene before we see the color.
right.
We see that he's aware that maybe his career is on the downslide.
Yeah.
But it breaks my heart every time I see that scene. The happiness with his brother getting married, them having children, all the joy, all the love.
Yeah.
And then the rest of it is to the depths of hell with self-destruction. So it's one of the many, many, if not the entire movie, that I love.
See,
But
I'm interested that you chose that scene because I know you from your acting work, but I've also had the chance to study with you for voiceover. So it's interesting to me that you picked the scene that there's not
no,
dialogue. Yeah.
oh, that's right.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm
Your voice.
curious because I think, obviously there's a lot that, as actors, voiceover artists, performers in general can do with their voice. But, I was raised on a lot of silent films and they were equally, if not more compelling. Like, what do
Yeah.
you think? Do you think this scene, if there was dialogue, it wouldn't have been as powerful?
It's only 40 minutes into the film.
Yeah.
And I think that, no, I don't think it would have been as powerful. And I think that it is a moment for the audience that we get a break.
Mm. Okay.
Is that motorcycle?
Yeah.
We get a break. I got some weirdos. I got some Harleys on my street.
Hey.
So we get a little break. We get a reprise. I mean, a repose. We get a break.
Get a break. Yeah. A break.
We get repose.
Yeah.
And because the music sort of tells the story for us as well.
Right.
The music just instantly tells us there's a melancholiness
Yeah.
about his memories.
Yeah.
And it's just so powerful. There are lots of movies where I love more than anything the moments where there is no sound or there is no dialogue.
Right.
This movie really, it exhausts you.
Mhm.
It's exhausting. More than any other boxing film I've ever seen. And I think I've seen them all. And I have friends who are making a boxing film right now.
Oh.
And I have another one of my students' brother was a boxer. He gave me the book about his life. And so there's a lot of boxing for some reason circling me. And
Yeah.
I think that Scorsese, he actually saved himself by directing this.
Mm.
It was 1980. He had just recovered from a near fatal drug overdose of cocaine.
Oh, wow.
He was a young guy and he didn't want to do this movie. And De Niro had been obsessing about it for like 10 years, about Jake LaMotta's life,
Yeah.
the real Jake LaMotta.
Yeah.
And Scorsese didn't want to do it. And then when he finally agreed to do it, it's a story of redemption or the attempt at redemption and of seeking forgiveness for your bad ways.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been said that Scorsese was looking for the same thing, for
Yeah.
forgiveness, for a way to make up for the mistakes he made. And this movie echoed his life in a way.
Yeah. Like Scorsese, obviously he's always the forefront of film and cinema and has been for many years. But recently, with the talks where he made a comment about Marvel films and stuff like that, I know I've gotten into a couple debates with friends because I tend to lean toward actors and films from like the 70s because just to me they were gritty, they were character driven, and that's not to say that there aren't films that are made like that now. But what do you think? Do you think of a film like Raging Bull could be made today and be as powerful, or do you think that there's just something of the actors that came out of the 60s and 70s doing like, the new school, doing all of, Meisner, all of this training, that there was just like a special spark for them? Like, what do you think that special sauce of all of that is?
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
Yeah.
Special sauce.
Yeah.
Well, I grew up, that was my era.
Mm.
And I was living in New York at the time in 1980, studying acting with Stella Adler.
Mm.
And Stella Adler was a coach of of Marlon Brando. She was a coach to, I think, even De Niro. I'm not sure, but I think he studied with her. That was the era of the method really coming into the forefront of our training. And Stella Adler was a student of Stanislavski directly. She was like his protege.
Yeah.
So it's sort of almost the beginning, even though Brando began the naturalistic acting.
Yeah.
As did Spencer Tracy.
Mm-hmm.
But it began that really naturalistic film acting.
Right.
For that generation, started with De Niro, with Pacino, all of his films. That special sauce is De Niro. And I swear, I just heard an interview this week. Somebody was saying how De Niro was his coach by watching his films.
Mm.
And in this movie, the way that he gives you his inner monologue, with the way he stares down the person he's talking to or that's talking to him, his listening skills, his focus is searing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was just that magic, perfect storm of De Niro, of Pesci,
Yeah.
of the guys who played the mob, all those character actors, of Kathy Moriarty, who was not even an actress. They just
Wow.
plucked her from oblivion.
Mm.
She was an unknown, complete unknown.
Wow.
And her naturalistic, very organically natural, because she didn't have any acting training.
Right.
That special sauce came with the cowboy, Rhinestone Cowboy, with Dustin Hoffman playing Ratso Rizzo.
Yes. Yes.
What was
I'm blanking on his name as well. Oh my gosh, Angelina Jolie's father, right?
Right, but I'm trying to think of the name of the movie.
Oh, okay, I'm like,
that Rhinestone
Yeah.
Cowboy. Oh my God. Anyway, that all the movies, Dog Day Afternoon with Pacino.
Yeah.
It was a magical time because it was a time of discovery, I think,
Mm-hmm.
for Scorsese, for all those actors,
Right.
all those heroes of that era. And they could do no wrong because they were acting from experience.
Right.
They were acting from their neighborhood,
Mm-hmm.
Little Italy, and the Queens and the Bronx, and all those, the boroughs they grew up in were the stories that we were being told.
Right. So with that, I'm just going to kind of take away, just for my own personal gain, is that you have to be Mediterranean in order to be good. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Yeah.
I don't know why that would be such a problem.
No. But, I think there's a lot of actors and filmmakers, more so we're seeing more in indie film than, big budgets. People are just kind of afraid to put their money to a story that they don't think will get them money back or won't be relatable. And I think, if anything, we've seen a lot in television. We've seen a lot with, Ryan Murphy just kind of blowing up television and just having representation for everybody to show that everyone has a story and we're all kind of interconnected. Do you think that there could be some kind of resurgence back to those days, or do you think that we're too far down the rabbit hole that we just want, kind of popcorn films for entertainment?
Well, we're in a new era now.
Yeah.
This COVID scare is going to change a great deal of movie making.
Yeah.
I think we may go back. We're going back to the 60s and 70s right now.
Yeah.
We're doing things at home with our families, or people who have family. I have the two cats. They're terrible at playing Monopoly. But make a mess of the whole thing. But I mean, we're back to the air is cleaner. Everything is sort of a throwback right now
Yeah.
to a time when I grew up.
Right.
So I think that filmmaking is going to become much more of the handheld, the Mexican, films like that were made on $3.
Yeah.
It may happen, but I know for sure that what's changing is how we get to audition.
Right.
I had auditions the past few weeks for casting directors coast to coast that I never had before, because they have to open up their doors to other actors.
Yeah.
In this time of stagnation, they have to see who else is out there.
Yeah.
And it's an amazing time, really, as horrible and painful, tragic.
Yeah.
We're going to go back,
Yeah.
and we've already begun the process.
Well, and I think what's interesting is that when you talk about, because I'm a humongous Al Pacino fan, and we're actually taping this on Al Pacino's 80th birthday. So
Hey, what?
yeah, today he's 80.
Oh,
Oh, be still my heart. But so I mean, with
Bon
him,
état.
yeah. Oh, I mean, I just
Oh my
um,
God.
but with him and like that era of De Niro and Pacino, Pesci, Dustin Hoffman, really when you hear about the stories of the struggles that they had to get through just to get into the door, just because they were going against the type, they were going against Robert Redford and Ryan O'Neal, these tall blonde guys, here's these short ethnic looking guys. So I mean, and they knocked it out of the park, and they redefined like what a leading man was. So with that and what you're talking about with auditioning and everything, now with the door being wide open, we might be getting to a point where the traditional all-American next door might
Oh,
be more like us than blonde hair,
that's
blue eyes.
already happening. That's
Yeah.
already. When I started it in the 70s, late 70s, early 80s, when these guys were really breaking through,
Yeah.
I was never hired as a narrator spokesperson, or as I didn't get commercials back then so much. I mean, I was the most ethnic thing some people had seen. Forget about black actors.
Yeah.
They were barely looking at Mediterranean.
Right.
What am I? I am Semitic, basically. I'm Lebanese, and so I'm really, I was an anomaly at the time, and now I'm 61, and I'm just saying from my own experience, I'm getting more opportunities than I had ever before. And I teach acting. So when I watch television like a hawk,
Yeah.
and I see how many actors of color are in commercials alone at prime time,
Right.
between 7 or 6:30, between the news hours and 11, it's all color all day.
Yeah.
In commercials. Some of my students are in them that live in LA. I see Jonathan Floyd in the biggest national commercials. Black actor who went to Hollywood in 1994,
Oh, okay.
95 or 96, had no training whatsoever. But they didn't have a pool of black actors at this agency that he's with. And I happen to know the owner of the agency. They're coast to coast. And he got signed like that.
Wow.
Without any training except for me.
Yeah.
And that was where the doors were slightly being opened.
Yeah.
Now we have, commercials with gay couples, with interracial families. I mean, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
My heart beats harder when I see them.
Yeah. Well, one quick thing just to get back to Raging Bull before we wrap up. There's a lot of physicality. He's playing a boxer. And you had mentioned, about Oklahoma and the theater. A lot of these actors that came from this era started in the theater. We have a lot of people now who are just like, oh, I just want to go straight to movies. I started in theater, you started in theater, all of them started in the theater. When it comes to the physicality of, boxing and everything, in the theater, you have a lot of time to train. you have a lot of, time to just workshop over, and, you have more time than you do in a film. So with that, and, taking the boxing in mind, he had to train a lot. Do you think that there's an inherent value of starting in the theater because it's conditioning? It's like a muscle. It's like working like a boxer.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, I mean,
Without a question.
right.
I've told so many students who want to do film and TV, please take some theater classes.
Mhm.
And I recommend that they take them with people I trust that I think are better equipped to give them a group class
Yeah.
in a theater or setting, or at a studio that they are teaching full-time theater
Yeah.
classes, because there's no other training like it. It's like ballet.
Mhm.
If you want to be a truly uh, a dancer with an array of versatility of a repertoire that's full, and so that you can maintain a career, you have to have ballet.
Right.
You must start with ballet.
Yeah.
At least I'm old school, and that's
Yeah.
what I. By the way, Jake LaMotta trained De Niro
Oh,
for
okay.
a whole year.
Wow.
A
Gosh.
whole year before
whole-
they filmed,
Wow.
before filming. And I watched him being interviewed on a show in 2009 with the comedian. Anyway, Google it.
Okay.
Anyway, he said Jake LaMotta was being interviewed about the film and everything, and he was in his maybe early 70s. He said that De Niro, at the point when they started filming, could have easily been a pro boxer at that point.
Wow.
And Mike Tyson was on the was one of the guests at the time too. So here's Mike Tyson sitting next to Jake LaMotta being interviewed by, can't think of his name. It's tragic. I feel like I've taken a few punches in my day, but I haven't. Oh. So theater, it's like he went through, combat training, just like as we would in a Shakespearean play.
Yeah.
He did that, and that's a theater-based technique to get stage combat training. I don't really know. I know Pacino's history in theater and how he still pursues analyzing.
I've seen him twice.
You have?
Yes, and it's been the best moments of my life. I saw him play Shylock in The Merchant of Venice, and then I saw him in David Mamet's China Doll.
Oh.
Both times I've said to the people next to me, I said, just so you know, when he walks on stage, I'm going to start crying and making weird animal noises. Don't judge me. And I did it both times.
Wow. I mean, in his analysis of Richard III, where he had filmed so much. Oh my God, that just made me.
Oh, I love it.
Creepy. That was beautiful. But I'd never seen him perform on stage. I only met him when I was in at Chelsea's vintage clothing store in the Village. He was buying clothes for American Buffalo. He was buying bowling shirts.
Oh, gosh.
That play. And I was there, and I only wanted to get his attention. We were the only two people in the store, and I said, my eyes are burning holes in him. And I asked the sales girl, could you please help me over here? And then I caught his eye, and he's looking at me like, the fuck do you think you are? Hand behind the back, who are you?
Yeah.
And he ignored me completely, and I met De Niro on an elevator. No, De Niro came into a restaurant I was coat checking at. And it was a very fancy restaurant. You did not ask for these stories, but I'm going to give them to you.
No, I want to hear them. Yeah.
I'm so jealous that you got to see Pacino on stage. Yeah. I was coat checking, and he walked into, it was called Chiro's, right? Italian, very upscale. Zabaione made at the side of your table. And he walked in, and the minute I saw him, he was wearing a bomber jacket. It was like right after Raging Bull. And I'm watching the maitre d' come over to Robert De Niro and tell him he can't come in because he's not wearing a dinner jacket.
Oh, no.
And I'm over here like this.
Yeah. Like, Oh, please.
He looks at me and I look at him like, and he goes,
Oh,
that's it. That was our interaction.
I would have given him like one of the random coats that you were checking, just been like, throw it on.
Well, a lot of restaurants have dinner jackets for guests that don't have
Oh,
any.
okay. Yeah.
And we did not have any. And I was so flabbergasted that he was turned away.
Oh,
Those were my brushes with those two. And my first speaking role ever was with Joe Pesci.
oh,
It was only
really?
5 words. Yeah, it was thrilling.
I know, but he just seems like such a like in Raging Bull and other films, he just seems like he's on screen and he has this presence, but he just seems like a very soft and sweet person, like in real life.
I don't know for sure if that's,
Yeah.
but he was staying in character when we
Mm.
were on hold and in holding on set. And he was very cute. He was very funny.
Yeah.
All right, so I got to tell this one last story.
Yeah.
So while we're on set, I'm terrified.
Mhm.
I am playing Stanley Tucci's wife.
I love him too.
Right?
He's so
the
great.
big night.
Oh gosh.
Forget
Oh,
about it.
he's
So
great.
Stanley Tucci's wife, and it's before Stanley Tucci was big. He was nervous too because this was one of his, I think, biggest roles. It was in the public eye.
Oh.
It was all about the photographer Luigi, who was the first photojournalist to film the mob after they've been killed. So he would photograph all the murder scenes, and they got into the paper. So he was playing this real live person in our history. I can't think of the guy's real name. Luigi. What is that in American language? English.
Lou.
Lou?
Yeah, maybe.
I can't remember.
Yeah.
1991. Anyway, so we're sitting and we're between takes, and I'm trying to find a way. I have an Instamatic camera.
Mhm.
Shows you how old this is. And I'm thinking, how am I going to get his attention? He's sitting right in front of me. We're sitting on the set of our parlor in the 1944 scene.
Mhm.
And I said, Mr. Pesci, you were so gripping in Goodfellas. You were like, he goes, did I amuse you? Like a clown? And I did not grasp it at the moment.
Yeah.
I went, no.
Oh. Nice.
Scared the shit out of me. And then
Oh.
I go, would you take a picture with me? And he goes, no pictures.
Oh.
And then he whips out this little camera
Mm.
out of his pocket, and he took a picture of me. And then we took pictures together.
Oh,
So he messed with me the whole time.
that's awesome. That's
So
so awesome.
see us on my website. I have a picture with him.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, I'm definitely going there and looking at that next. Great.
I will never stop being starstruck. I mean, every time I get to work with a celebrity, I lose my mind.
Well, and especially like, just kind of going back to, Raging Bull and like these guys of that era. I mean, it really laid the foundation for generations of actors and filmmakers. So, I mean, I've heard stories about like when, De Niro or Pacino, when they were talking about being in the presence of Marlon Brando, it was just like, you're the reason
Oh, yes.
here, so especially seeing those heavy, no pun intended,
No.
they're pretty much the reason why a lot of people are pursuing this life. So the three takeaways that I would say from this whole process that we had is that you should study theater.
Yep.
That realism is an integral part of performance, and if you're Mediterranean, you just happen to be gifted. There we go.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that's it.
And not much has changed.
No.
You have to be real and believable.
Yeah.
And that's why typecasting is so important to directors, because they want you to be the character.
Right.
Don't play the character.
Exactly.
They want you to be it.
Yeah.
So God love you, Miss Mediterranean.
Yes, and you as well.
Molto grazie.
Yeah.
All right. I
So
love you. Thank you for this.
yes, thank you so much. And thank you for tuning in to Great Movie Scenes, the first series where we're talking about just that, great scenes from movies. We hope that you enjoyed our little gab session that we had today. And
Oh, God.
but we, we look forward to seeing you next time. Thank you. Bye, Jean.
Thanks. Hope your ears don't hurt from all my talking.
No, no.
Bye.
All right. Bye.